You're imposing your beliefs on us. I can't get out of this bus from listening to your sermon. So I think next time, try to preach at church where people who actively went there want to hear the word of God.
So you don't want to hear the word?
No, I do not want to hear that.
I'm sorry for that. All right.
Thanks.
Last year, I was watching TikTok, and there's a lady that we once interviewed here on our channel. Her name is Alvina Kachuku from Kenya. And she had this moment where she was sitting in a bus and there was a preacher in the bus. And she asked the preacher that she is disturbing them in that confined spaces that they were in. They were hoping to go to work and go to different places. And this preacher was making a noise and was forcing himself on them. That was last year. This year, recently, 6 days ago, I saw another video here locally. And if you want to go to TikTok to check the user it's Your Venus 31. And yeah, she was also in a bus, and the preacher was making some noise. And she gently asked to be the preacher that if the preacher would like to preach, they should choose a place where people go to for this type of activity in a church. And the preacher said he's sorry. But I think when he said he was sorry, he was not meaning that he's sorry to be disturbing her. Because before saying he's sorry, he said, I'm preaching about God or something like that. And the lady said, no, I don't want to hear about that. Then the preacher said, oh, I'm sorry. So maybe he meant, I'm sorry that you don't want to hear it. I'll be doing it again. Because when she went back into the same public transport, he found the guy busy speaking again. The second video that she did said, she's giving up because the guy was there again, preaching again. So she considered what she was doing to complain now useless because this person doesn't understand. But the question that came to my mind is it fair for preachers to go into public spaces, let's say in a pavement, then hold a hailer and start shouting, Jesus is coming, prepare yourself. Those who don't want to hear about Jesus, prepare yourself for hell. You are going to die. And things like that. Or inside a bus, you are sitting in a chair. How many people there? About 60 or 65. And this person waits for the bus to start moving. After that, you don't have a choice to climb off if you don't like to hear what he's saying. And also, even if you wanted to climb off, you are late for work, you've got to be at that place, and this person is imposing himself for the next hour or so. The person will be preaching to you what you don't want to hear. And this is a one-way discussion because you can't ask questions. You can't say, no, you're lying, whatever, because now he's shouting, he's the one owning that space. So I checked the issues of freedom of expression, freedom of not listening to what you don't want to listen to. By the way, what did they call that freedom? And to check how do they balance these things? Is a person allowed to be in a public space and make noise like that? Well, on my research, I saw that this mainly depends on the municipality bylaws. For instance, where I stay, there are laws that govern the noise level. If I'm in Cape Town and I'm making a lot of noise, a persistent noise, people can call the authorities to come and control the source of the noise. But that person, they are allowed to preach in public space as long as they are not making noise. We know Jehovah's Witnesses, we see them in pavements, even though they took out a directive also when I was still with them, that people should not approach people. You should stand and people should approach you. Then you start to talk to them when they come to you. And also, it is not shouting. It is one-on-one discussion with people. That is allowed by law, that you can talk to people one-on-one. If a person is willing to listen, can be a gentleman or a lady, and say, can I interest you in this? Do you know Jesus? Would you like to hear about Jesus? And if a person doesn't want to hear, says, no, I'm not interested in Jesus. But you say, why? I say, I don't want to tell you. I don't want to hear about Jesus. Then you just leave them alone. But in a confined space or in a space that is public and you are making noise that everybody hears, then that starts to become a problem. In a public space that is confined, they say you've got the right to move away from that space to another space. And it felt a bit unfair. Let's say I'm sitting in a park and I'm relaxing, and this person comes and makes noise there, and I don't want to hear him. When they say I've got a right to move away from that space, that means if this guy, I find another person like him on another spot again, then my day is ruined. Then in Cape Town also there's a bylaw that says if a person follows you, then also they are harassing you, then you can charge them for harassing you. But in a confined space, you cannot do those things. I cannot stand up and jump out of a moving bus. I cannot move to a seat at the back of the bus because I'll be hearing that person. And I saw other people on that post saying to the lady, why don't you get yourself headsets and some music player, and during the trip you take that? No. What if she wants to sit around and hear other people have discussions with other people, and this person is owning the space, and he's the one that is making a noise, and he's the only one that is allowed to speak here because he's speaking so loud that everybody, he wants to get everybody's attention. So that's a bit of a problem there when it happens in that way. So here are the questions that I looked at. It says, can a person have a conversation in a public space? Then it says, yes. For example, someone saying, can I share something with you? And stopping when you decline, it is allowed. Then it says, can a person shout a sermon in a vehicle where everybody is? Then there is a likely not, especially if it disturbs passengers. In Cape Town, for example, the streets, public places, and prevention of noise nuisances by law prohibit causing a disturbance in a public place by shouting, screaming, or making any other loud or persistent noise, including amplified sound. Then also the traffic bylaws prevents any person to disturb a person who's in a public transport. So you cannot disturb public transport vehicles. So if you are making noise in a public transport vehicle, then you can lay a complaint. You must start by complaining to the operator of that car or the employees of the operators of that car if the person doesn't want to listen. But also, if you fail those two steps, then you can complain to the authorities so that this particular practice should desist. In a train, for instance, there are security people in the new trains. You can approach them also and tell them that that person is making noise. I try to speak to the person, he doesn't listen. Please come and solve this problem because we are trying to go to work here. I'm trying to think about my day, plan my day, and this person is busy shouting in our faces. This person is also threatening us with his God, threatening us with his Satan, that his Satan is going to burn us in fire. So that is harassment. And you can complain on such things. So this lady, unfortunately, she's on TikTok. I did respond to her video. I wonder whether she got it because she's giving up. Says now she'll live with it, but it's definitely no. We cannot be forced to do something that is annoying us and that is forced on us.